So, welcome acolytes. Well, we have an update to to denims, as it seems. In this case, yes, if you don't know the entire thing, denims is basically somebody who, well, first of all, an OF model, second of all, dumb as F, third of all, she actually broke the law. Basically, yes, she broke the law, and not just by reacting to Ethan Klein's video, but also actually just wanting to be our replacement in the market for it, and that's highly illegal. And she also supports Hassan Piker, who's a terrorist supporter, and things like that. So yes, there is an update to that, to what this woman actually does, and I'm gonna be honest, it's very entertaining and funny. That's why I'm doing this. And more Pegasus, by the way, the legend himself. Let's just see what he has to say about it. This is so freaking funny, and I hope they get shafted, every single one of them. If you don't know what she did a lot of bad stuff. She did watch more Pegasus for every single thing, because he basically documented everything she did badly. So yeah.
Welcome back to a series so hot, even Heat Blast subscribed. In today's video, Hassan is once again threatening to sue Ethan for defamation.
By the way, he won't. Won't happen. He knows that as soon as he sues somebody, even as corrupted as our system is, he will get shafted. He will get shafted majorly. Very, very hefty. Because then everybody starts to sue him for the same thing. And he will go under. So no, he won't sue anyone. This is just a non-factor, in my opinion.
YouTuber Philip DeFranco has talked about the Hassan situation. Hassan is mad because he didn't criticize Ethan enough. Ethan has responded saying he's working on...
Yeah, that's the thing. If you just say facts, there isn't a lot to criticize Ethan for right now. Of course, there is enough if you disagree with him or don't think that he's correct about something. Yeah, there is a lot to talk about. But not criticize or not talking about enough about him in a negative way, I would say no. And by the way, I am from a standpoint of actually disliking Ethan. I do not like the guy, I do not agree with the guy on a lot of things, but still, the way he got shafted,
on a massive video exposing Hassan. Ethan is going after Twitch and their sponsors.
Good.
Legal Mindset has broken down Denim's defense in the copyright lawsuit, and
nice.
It is looking bad. A YouTuber has released a content nuke on Denims. Subscribe to reach...
What? Wait. What? No, don't tell me.
Alright, we gotta...
This isn't true. Baba content nuke denims. Yeah. Wait, I probably wrote it so wrong. I just have to look at it in my own time, but freaking hell. Yeah, and English is my third language, and I'm a Legasthenic, just so you know.
Episode 100 and change the very fabric of the universe. Who knows what mysteries lie ahead? Back to you, Jellywig.
Let's up those numbers!
By the way, for those who actually don't know how this came to be, yes, because there are actually some people that don't know this, he actually was shouting this after a friend of his that was an alcoholic overdone his alcoholism. By the way, he invited him, an ex-alcoholic, to a party where alcohol is a given and will be, well, positively enforced to actually drink. And yeah, after the friend actually told him, yeah, I'm drinking a lot, he actually told him, yeah, come on, drink more. So yes, an absolute moron.
Now let's begin with Hassan threatening to sue Ethan.
This standard was evenly applied. Don't you think that spending the last year calling me a fucking dangerous Hamas mouthpiece, a Hamas terrorist, actively demanding that people take action against me, would put you directly in harm's way for legal repercussions? You spent the past 22 months of genocide actively making a villain out of anyone and everyone firing off hundreds of Instagram
Yeah, that's bullshit. You literally support terrorists, so that there is nothing of showing that you are a terrorist. You support terrorists. Done. There is enough proof of it. I'm not gonna even repeat it because it was repeated so many times on the internet that it's silly to actually repeat it again. Everybody who actually didn't see it, no, you know what? Just look at it. By looking at more Pegasus, so more Pegasus actually profits from it. Let's do it like this. Yeah, there is just no I'm just gonna say this. I don't care about the rest that he did. He did a lot of heinous stuff, except for the thing with the Ethan's children. That was also extremely disgusting. But supporting terrorists, yeah, you shouldn't be even near a platform. That's done. I'm gonna be honest. You shouldn't even be anywhere near some kind of platform or normal human beings. You should be in jail for that, for supporting freaking terrorist groups. And I don't care about freedom of speech and such in this case, because supporting groups that actually off people, yeah, sorry, that's the step too far. That's the freaking step too far in my opinion.
stories, so much so that you couldn't even fucking imagine yourself. You couldn't believe the amount of Instagram stories you'd posted before this fucking debate. What do you think? Spreading misinformation about me, constantly fucking clipping me out of context.
Okay.
Show it. Show it. If you think that he shows misinformation, show the misinformation. But you didn't, so everything's correct.
Right off the bat, he never called you a Hamas terrorist. He called you a terrorist supporter. Very big difference there.
Yep.
But obviously, Hassan is going to, take the most extreme interpretation in order to make Ethan look crazy. Also, I don't know why he's acting like calling him a terrorist supporter is some sort of weird exaggeration. You support three different terrorist groups: Hamas, Houthis, Hezbollah, potentially even more. I don't know, haven't done the lore, but nobody is making that up. Okay, this is factual statements. I support the Houthis, 10 toes down, guys. No, it was out of context, guys. Context. Bro, you gotta understand at this point, your entire life is out of context. Like, anytime, anything you say about Hassan, it's all, like, even if you take his entire stream and put it as a clip, it's out of context. You gotta watch the other 500 streams. Second thing is, you never ask people to take, like, violent action against you or physical action against you.
Correctly.
He said that Twitch should take action against you and ban you from their platform because you violated.
And by the way, that's the absolute minimum. As I said, I still think that for the terrorist supporting, he should go to jail.
EOS, which is completely fair. And if you actually think you have a case against Ethan, please, I'm begging you, sue Ethan. I want to see this. I will legitimately pay money to see this, okay? I want to see you put your money where your mouth is, because that would be such cinema to see you lose in court. Also, can this guy say one sentence without talking about the genocide? Oh my god, bro. Is this what, like, you wake up in the morning, be like, well, what do you want for breakfast? I'll have a genocide with the side of, like, brother, give it a rest. Holy shit, man. People can talk about other things. I can't believe you're drinking water right now. I can't believe you're watching this video right now. I can't believe you're breathing right now when there's a genocide going on, guys.
Yep, that's his argument, by the way. Why are you doing this while this is going on? If you're arguing like that, that's just such a stupid way of argumenting, because it can be used against you in any kind of way. How can you do X because of X? Let's just say it like this, acolytes. How dare you watch other videos while my video is up? How dare you, acolytes? How dare you breathe air while there is undeath going on? How dare you? No, it's just bollocks. The argumentation style of that is just total freaking childish bollocks.
Stop using the war as a shield. It is honestly just disgusting.
Regularly demanding that, like, people take action against me at a time when the government is taking action against me. What do you think you're doing? You know exactly what the fuck you're doing. Okay? The notion that, like, I was invoking your wife, that you also openly recognize participated in an illegal raid in the West Bank as a part of the occupying forces that did a war crime
Did he acknowledge that? I don't know. Show us proof, please.
for any reason other than the fact that she did do that is ridiculous. Okay?
Yeah, there he goes again, pretending like the entire forces of the US government is hunting this guy down. Hassan Piker is actually so important that he's on the FBI's most wanted list, guys. Everybody is coming after him. Dude, if they were actually going after you, you'd already be in prison. Just because you got...
Yes. Yes, that's true.
stopped at the border and you got questioned about supporting terrorists, like you got stopped at the airport or whatever, that is your own fault. When you're like on stream every day going like, you know, America deserved 9/11, I support the Houthis 10 toes down, bringing up...
Yep, that's the next thing. That's the next thing. If you, at this point, if you actually get all the points together and look at them individually, you have a fucking line. And I never said anything against the America thing. I disagree with it very heavily. But, you know, it's bad. I never said anything about that. But as I said, supporting a group that actually actively offs people, that's, in my opinion, the thing too far.
Houthi rebel on stream, literally like all this type of stuff, and you're like, why am I being stopped, guys? Why am I being questioned? Guys, why would they ask me ridiculous questions like, do I support terrorists, when I say Hezbollah is my favorite flag? And I just love how he pretends like he's some sort of revolutionary. He's being hunted down for fighting for the right cause. Oh my god, I lost my global entry privileges. It's literally a privilege, buddy. You didn't get like banned from flights or whatever. And then he accuses slop tubers of colluding with the US government. Oh, Donald Trump is in cahoots with these slop tubers. It's just a peak level of delusion, man. I'm gonna just leave this here.
No. That's either yes, there is the possibility that it's a delusion, but it's also a tactic to actually let him look way more important than he actually is. And right now, it's for his, and I am sorry for his actual people who watch him, but they are stupid. Those people are just freaking stupid. At this point, if you're still watching somebody who pretends to be that nice and good of a guy, and you watch him because you believe him, you are just stupid. I'm gonna be honest, like, I don't like attacking communities, but this is just to a degree where I just think if you're watching him on a regular basis, you are actually going in the way of a problem. Let's just say it like that.
9 principles of propaganda: lie big, focus, repeat, blame, provoke, crisis, emotion, pander, no limits. The Hassan Piker playbook right here. Somebody actually went bwahahaha and put up a Luffy picture. That's actually hilarious. He would love this. He loves One Piece, obviously. I guess he only had 9 toes down, guys. Of course, important distinction. And it was moving on to Philly D. Basically, Philip DeFranco's latest video, he's talking about Hassan, Destiny, Ethan, the whole situation. He spent about 5 minutes going over the situation, and everybody's responded to this. The thing is, from what I understand, Philip DeFranco's coverage is very sort of sympathetic towards Hassan. Like, it's not very critical of Hassan at all, right? Which he should be, honestly. But
yeah, of course he should be. I'm gonna repeat it again. The guy supports terroristic groups. Yes, it should. How's this even a question for a normal human being? Yes, he should be very critical of that. If you actually support and are very sympathetic towards him, then sorry, but this should be looked in instantly. In my opinion, this should be then looked in. You should be looked at because no, if somebody supports groups like that, no, it's just no, don't. What the fuck is wrong with you?
it's not enough for Hassan. Hassan doesn't think Philly D goes far enough when labeling Ela Klein.
Favorite podcaster's wife has gotten a lot of attention because Ela previously served in the IDF. And
yeah, and the thing is, he also freaking went after Ethan's wife, his children, thinks that everybody in America should just get off, supports terrorists. Sorry, be more critical against a freaking guy like this.
It also has a...
Well, no. She didn't just previously serve in the IDF. She participated in an illegal raid in the West Bank as a part of her service in the Israeli occupying force.
Prove it, for fuck's sake. Yeah, it's nice that you tell it, but unlike you, if we talk about this stuff, and you say stuff like that, Ila actually isn't the type of person where the step-by-step thing or the comparison thing would fit. And I'm not saying she never did it, by the way. If she did, and there is proof for it, I'm gonna instantly believe it. I'm gonna instantly take it. But there is just simply no proof, and the only words we have are from a known liar and, well, supporter of terroristic groups. So why would I trust that?
Force. And not only is what I'm saying not a gray area or anything, it's just international law, right? Ethan Klein himself has on numerous occasions agreed with that sentiment. He has actually presented it in his context nuke, talking about his bona fides for how much he is an advocate, a stalwart ally of the Palestinians, as he has said. Ethan Klein has said West Bank settlers are valid military targets. Ethan Klein has admitted that his wife is a terrorist on stream. Were you saying if your favorite podcast wife was in Israel performing illegal war crimes that they would be illegal target? That's how I understood it. No, I'm saying in the process of anyone at all, it could be your mom, your dad, your fucking favorite podcaster. If they receive violence in retaliation from the occupied force, that is legal. That is a legal act of resistance.
She was a secretary, you absolute moron. Like, this is the problem, right? People like Hassan pushing this narrative, even his, one of his favorite orbiters, Denims.
The IDF member is bravely taking a break from killing unarmed children to bring us back to reality.
You know, Hassan recently also did a muddy death threat against her as well. And this is just so dangerous, right? Because when you brand her as this terrorist and this baby killer and all this extremely evil person, you're basically...
Yeah, by the way, without proof. Still without proof. There isn't anything to prove this. That's just the biggest problem here. If this, as I said, if this was freaking true, at any point, if this was something that happened, I would go after her like I'm doing against Hassan. I would hound her exactly the same way. But there is no proof of it. There are just words from lying people who are proven to be liars, who are proven to actually support terroristic groups. Why should I believe them? That makes no sense.
Giving everybody a reason to go and enact violence on her. Like, oh, she escaped justice, guys. Oh, she, maybe in the past or
and
whatever.
He's correct about it.
She was a valid military target. And now she's like sort of gotten away with it, right? So this is just dangerous language. I don't know why, YouTube drama has escalated to this level. Obviously,
it's simple. It's simple because it's legal. Nobody does anything against it. He doesn't get punished for his actions. And there are still people who protect him for some reason and protect his quote-unquote free speech that he is actually what I would call harassment at this point. Yeah, I mean, do as you want, but this is just pure unfiltered harassment. And yeah, it's just going on because he's not getting shafted. I'm gonna be honest, it's pretty simple in my opinion. It's just, yeah, that's what happens. No consequences, no rules. I'm gonna be honest, I don't even know why it's so hard to understand. Or, I mean, I know, he's actually... I understand it. I understand why he says the thing he does. It's yeah.
Wants to make it about some random conflict, of course. And I feel like Hassan is just so disingenuous because Ethan has never agreed that his wife is a terrorist. You absolute freak. That is so disingenuous to say. And this guy, like, I don't know why he pretends like he cares about the law. He cares about ethics. You support fucking terrorist groups, man. Do you know what terrorists do? They routinely violate laws and all kinds of ethics. Yes. In fact, harming civilians is like a central part of being a fucking terrorist, right? It's like the one thing they're known for, right? Hassan just has no problem with bombing people, kidnapping people, torturing people, committing all these acts of violence. But suddenly he talks about the important stuff, guys. You can't gamble, guys, but I can support terrorists, obviously. It's just like nobody can take you seriously when your arguments are so weak, and it seems like he has no problem with ethics or the law. unless it like fits his agenda or whatever. Then it's
Yes,
like, oh yeah,
exactly.
I really care about this stuff, guys. Maybe a Hamas biker would like Hilo more if she took Filipino sailors hostage for a year, like his terrorist Yemeni friend. What a piece of shit. Bro keeps canceling himself, and somehow his audience just does not care. I mean, it is getting smaller and smaller, but it's like, damn, how many people are so like ingratiated in this cult? It's crazy. Translation: no, let me stop the video and provide my context so my brain dead audience can be easily told what to think and not listen to a fact that will make them think different than what I tell them. Of course, you gotta go through the Hamas piker filter, right, to consume all your media. As he says, you are too stupid to understand it yourself. You need it to go through the filter of Hassan, of course. Anyways, Ethan responded here, Hassan is terrified of the video I'm working on. He's deployed his usual technique of targeting Hila to get to me. As Hassan said, deny, deflect, and attack. Nothing will stop it, Hassan, and it's even worse than anyone knows. Oh my god. Alright, I guess we're getting another content nuke coming on Hassan, and I don't know what he's going to focus on. Maybe the death threats against his wife, or maybe the recent nudes, the creepy nude shit that has come out about Hassan, where he's showing all his friends like these random nudes or whatever, accidentally or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know, maybe he has more.
That's, by the way, so disgusting. So you're telling me you're actually watching nudes of your fans or of the partners you had in front of your friends? How fucked up in the head are you? I mean, who the F ever watched nudes in front of other people? What's wrong with you?
Info on that, I will look forward to it. Moving on to Ethan talking about Twitch, drops a call to action after Twitch found no violation in the Hassan Hila clip. You cannot be serious, bro. But again, this is the platform that banned Mike for 1 week for saying that thing about Jews. Twitch found no violation on the Hassan clip about Hila. You have submitted a safety report that we have reviewed the content, could not identify a violation. Dan Clancy, take the dick out of your mouth, dog. It is actually disgusting. How is that even allowed? I mean, Twitch is just has gotta be anti-Semitic. There is no other explanation.
They are.
Ethan responds, write the sponsors. It's the only route Twitch has left open. I feel like if everybody starts emailing the advertisers and the sponsors, Twitch is just cooked, all right? Twitch saving the golden goose once more. How will he attend the Diddy parties without this? Moving on to Denims. If you remember, a few episodes ago, we talked about how Denims and Caseytron responded to Ethan's lawsuit, and they have the same lawyer. They have hired this pretty prestigious law firm or whatever, and recently they responded with 18 affirmative defenses, right, for the whole copyright case. So Legal Mindset has gone through each of them and given his legal analysis on whether Denims is cooked or not.
And an affirmative defense means even if Ethan Klein is right, I'm going to get away with it because X. So we're going to score all of those. I'm going to explain to you the law for some of these defenses. I genuinely believe their lawyer may have been high. I actually had to look up some of the defenses because they just pulled them out of nowhere. And literally, there are certain defenses they use that aren't even real in this area of law. So the first affirmative defense is failure to state a claim. What failure to state a claim is it says even if all the facts are true, they do not establish a valid legal cause of action. This is saying they're going to be able to remove this on a motion to dismiss. This is an extremely weak argument. Yes, the likelihood of success is cope for the affirmative defense of failure to state a claim. The motion to dismiss will 100% be denied. There's no way they're going to win on motion to dismiss. It's just not going to happen.
Right. So basically their strategy was throw everything at the wall and see what sort of sticks here. Not a good one, obviously, as it just makes you look pretty incompetent, and you essentially end up wasting the court's time. And once you lose on one of them and you lose on two of them, you sort of build up this momentum, and it just doesn't make you look that good. So you're better off just focusing on the strongest arguments, that being fair.
I mean, the thing is, yes, this tactic is stupid in my opinion. Yes, it shouldn't be a thing. Yes, even the lawyer should be punished for doing stuff like this, because that's a pure time waste. Everybody knows it's a time waste. So yeah, there should be consequences for the lawyers. But if it had worked, it had worked. There is a 0% chance of it actually working, so I understand why they did it, because the entire thing is actually quite lost. There is no way in hell or in life that they wouldn't, well, that they will hopefully win. But still, the entire system or the entire the judges, everything is extremely biased and extremely corrupt. So everything's possible. Literally everything's possible.
Fair use, right? When a lawyer looks at your legal defense and calls you high, that is just diabolical, bro. That is, you're cooked. You're cooked. Maybe Casey actually shared some of her stack with her lawyers. That would actually add up. That is very possible, guys.
Next is fair use. Now, this is their strongest of all defenses, and I give it a 5 out of 10, which is the most I'm going to give for any of the affirmative defenses. So if accused copyright infringement, use of the copyrighted material falls under the fair use exception and is therefore not infringement. This is a 5 out of 10. It is a toss-up, but the odds are in Klein's favor.
Yep, I mean, that's what I predicted as well, that fair use is the strongest one there. That's what I know from YouTube as well. The thing about fair use is that it's always open to interpretation. You get to argue it both ways, right? That's the only hope that Denims and Caseytron actually have for this copyright lawsuit. Also, the most rating among all 18 defenses being a 5 out of 10. Holy fuck, it is not looking good, bro. And keep in mind that Legal Mindset is being completely objective and fair with this analysis, because even last time when we were talking about whether Hassan would be held legally liable for his threats on Hila, he said that no, he would not be legally liable, and you wouldn't be able to put him in prison for this, right? Then he talks about some of the weaker defenses.
Okay, next, express license. Did Ethan Klein give Caseytron and Denims permission expressly?
By the way, I personally think that he should get shafted for the things he said about Ila, but it's also very in the gray.
To write it. So a plaintiff cannot claim infringement against a defendant who uses plaintiff's copyrighted work if the plaintiff granted the defendant an express license to use the work. So if you said, you can use this, it's okay, you can copy this, then you've got no express license, especially if you put that in writing. The likelihood of success is unlikely because there's no written or specific license. There's implied license, the second best defense, that is not explicitly granted, but it's inferred from the conduct of the owner or the circumstance. Ethan Klein did at some point make a general statement about how he treats people using his content. However, he did not say, I give you permission to take the entire video with minimal content. And he also did not say, I give you permission to maliciously redirect traffic.
Yeah, personally, yes. I just don't see this one working. I feel like the license would need to be very clear, right? You are allowed to react to my video in this specific context, and then it would work. Ethan did not give Denims or Caseytron that permission. I think Legal Mindset did mention later on as well that he's being overly generous with the ratings as well, because you can't give all of them a 0, I suppose. Yeah, I just feel like it's a complete shitfest for the Three Musketeers, and I just can't believe that Froggen might actually have the most genius strategy. She actually bought herself 60 more days by hiding. Like, I legitimately thought that was the dumbest strategy ever. Like, I thought she was gonna default judgment, so that was gonna completely cook her. But then she waited till the last day, and she bought herself 60 more days. That's 60 more days to stuff her face with Big Macs. She's a genius. She's a genius, man. Oh my god. Truly the Einstein of finding ways to eat more Big Macs. Then he talks about the unclean hands argument.
Unclean hands. I love unclean hands. It sounds so good. So this one means someone has behaved badly in the specific situation they're suing about, so they cannot ask the court. So by asserting unclean hands, both Caseytron and Denims are saying that Ethan Klein did something naughty and therefore he can't sue. The problem is it's not illegal or impermissible or dirty or not practical. Many people register their copyright. In fact, that's what you should do. In fact, you're encouraged to register your copyrighted material. So this seems like a very, very weak argument. I give it a 2 out of 10, and that's me being generous. So by arguing waiver, Casey and Denning and their lawyer are just making this up. I don't see where this is coming from at all. So I say, once again, this is a cope. Now, this one, I think it's arguable, but not likely. It's weaker than implied license. Estoppel is a concept which prevents a plaintiff from asserting a legal claim that contradicts their prior actions or statements, particularly if it would be unfair to the defendant. So it's sort of like an implied license. You could say, okay, because of the conduct of Ethan Klein in the past and the implied license, there's sort of like an estoppel here that should come out. I still think it's unlikely.
Right, so you probably noticed by now that a lot of these are like straight up copy paste or very...
Yeah, but the thing also is, I mean, as I said, I just don't trust the justice system to actually do justice here. That's why I'm very negative about it. But yeah, at the end of the day, yeah, you could actually change that. It could work. It just could work. If you throw enough shit against the wall, sometimes it works. So yeah.
Like super similar to each other and argued in a similar way. It's kind of like when I'm trying to fill my essay, trying to reach the word mark or whatever, you know, get to those 2,000 words or whatever. I honestly don't know why they even let it get to this. They should have just settled with them. That was the initial advice given by all the lawyers. They should have just admitted fault. But it seems like their ego is too big. They could have saved so much money and hassle by just admitting they're wrong, just apologizing. I think Ethan was pretty forgiving at the very start, but yeah, now they just double down and they're cooked. So after this, he talks about one of their defenses where they're actually arguing about patent law instead of copyright law. So this is like a different level of incompetency.
Justification and excuse. So defendant, that is Casey, John, and Denhams, are saying that they admit to committing the crime, but they argue that the circumstances justify or excuse their action. Giving this a 3 out of 10 was really because I looked through the entire thing and I give them so many 1s and 0s. I had to try to give them some 3s because I wanted to be fair. But what is the justification? Because Ethan Klein is a bad human being, because he's a Yahtzee? The law doesn't apply differently to people because you think they're a bad human being subjectively. Did Ethan Klein
That's correct, by the way. That's correct.
Consent to it through implication? Maybe. I think 10-15% chance at most. Likelihood of success, very, very low. Innocent infringement. Oh, it's cute. It's an innocent infringement. It's a cute infringement. It means it can reduce the damages that the court awards on a copyright infringement case. It is not a complete defense to liability. Inequitable conduct. So there is a defense in patent law. Remember, this is copyright law. Copyright law is not patent law, okay? So their lawyer is literally using an argument from patent law, saying that a patent applicant misrepresents or omits material information with the intent to deceive the Patent and Trademark Office. This is literally a non-existent argument, which is impossible, which only applies for patents, not copyright. This is the dumbest thing that I've seen in a while.
I mean, we're also talking about Denims and, you know, the fat chick and Hassan. Like, they went through everything with lies, harassment, just being, all in all, a very non-good human being. So yeah, I think no matter how stupid, as I said before, if you throw enough shit against the wall, something will stick at some point. So yeah, if something sticks, that's good for them. Anything that sticks is good for them.
Where a lawyer is going to argue law from an area that we're not even talking about.
Holy shit, that is embarrassing. I mean, how does a lawyer, like, this is supposed to be like a prestigious law firm, like, how do they not spot that? Obviously, I'm a layman. Obviously, I didn't spot that shit, but holy shit, this is your job, right? It is literally your job, and you're arguing for an entirely separate field here. I mean, That is so bad. Like, how does that even happen? I feel like they're supposed to be high quality lawyers. Maybe they're like cheaped out. Maybe they got the, you know, basic package. They got the Temu version. Guys, I'm starting to think maybe Frogan is actually 2 million IQ. Maybe she legitimately knew that these lawyers sucked, and that's why she decided to go with her own like smaller firm, and you know, she went for like an independent lawyer or whatever. So this might be the conclusion that Frogan is actually the smartest of the three. There's just no way. I mean, to be fair, your competition is Weedy McWeedface and Omega Bimbo here, right? The creepy puppy doll, whatever the hell, right? Creepy lover, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, still, I just wanted to extend my congratulations to Frogan. Like, wow, you have won the spelling bee. You have won the intelligence IQ test competition here. Holy shit. Then he talks about the unjust enrichment argument.
Okay, unjust enrichment. One party was unfairly benefited at the expense of another party without proper compensation. This is hilarious because the only people that were unfairly benefited were the orbiters, were Caseytron and Denims, right? The only people who unfairly made money were the orbiters. It was not Ethan Klein. How did Ethan Klein unfairly benefit? It makes no sense whatsoever. Where did his money come? Where did any money come from him? He didn't make anything. This is maximum copium. Saying that Ethan Klein was unjustly enriched, what are you talking about?
Another just baffling defense here. This is why you should have just stuck to fair use, right? Obviously, Ethan was not enriched as a result of this. I think some lawyers were mentioning that Denims may claim that she doesn't deserve to pay so much money because she only stole one video. And that was somewhat of an argument that I could understand. Not sure if this is this under the same argument or a different one here. But it definitely was Denims and Caseytron that were benefiting from stealing the content because you know, they're getting viewership, they're getting primes, as Denim explicitly said. That was the most crazy admission. Like,
Yeah, I mean, do we even have to argue with that? Is that even a thing where you would say that's even in the most uncertain part? Who benefited from it? It's not Ethan. It's definitively not Ethan. Ethan,
like, please sub, you know, please give your primes to me and not Ethan here, right?
Yes.
If you enjoyed not giving any views to that terrible video, follow, subscribe, throw a prime.
And considering that was literally the goal of it, you know, to take the benefit away from Ethan and to them, I don't see how this argument is going to work. Then he talks about some of the most brain-dead arguments.
Latches. The defendant can argue the plaintiff waited too long to sue and that the delay unfairly harms the defendant. This one is another one that is so brain dead. This is completely brain dead. It's near impossible. I give it a 0.5. I wanted to give it a 0, but technically you can make this argument. It's not illegal. They are arguing that Ethan waited too long to sue.
Oh.
Ladies and gentlemen, he literally sued immediately. He literally sued like days after their videos dropped. You cannot possibly sue faster than he did. He had everything lined up and planned, like everything, and he sued me. And they're trying to argue he waited too long. That's their argument. It's fully within the statute of limitations.
That is fucking hilarious. So they're trying to argue that you didn't file the lawsuit the exact nanosecond that I violated copyright, guys. That's why, you know, you can't do it right now. It's too late. I mean, obviously there's a statute of limitations for these things. You could probably do it way later and it would still be viable as well. I'm just completely baffled here. Like, I thought they hired good lawyers, but maybe the client is just indefensible here. The case sucks ass. Maybe, who knows? I feel like you'd be better off just going with fair use, but I guess every lawyer sort of has their methods or whatever. You know, maybe they are competent. Maybe this is some secret strategy, or their strategy is to just milk Denims and Caseytron for all their money. Maybe we've got two people here, the lawyers and Ethan, both trying to milk them for the money. It's crazy. Either way, I'm here for the entertainment, and we will be covering all the developments. Then we get to the last few arguments, and one of them is the lack of notice.
Failure to register copyright. This one I had to put at a 0. So they make the affirmative defense that while registration isn't required for copyright protection exist, it's necessary to file a lawsuit for infringement. This is another argument that is brain dead, because literally in the complaint itself, they show how they registered it and they give proof of registration. It is literally impossible. The copyright was clearly registered properly. It was done by a lawyer. It was done in the proper way. There is no way this argument wins. It's a 0 because it's properly registered. So lack of notice. Defendants were unaware and could not have known about the lawsuit. Therefore, it should not be held liable. This is one I wanted to give another 0 as well. How are you going to be answering a lawsuit?
Oh god, every minute that passes here it gets stupider and stupider. It's actually incredibly entertaining. I'm not gonna lie. It's actually quite funny. I already have some, like, my cheeks, my unexisting ghost cheeks already are just hurting. It's actually quite funny. I love it. And no, I just didn't, gonna be honest, if I put in the video everything, every laughter I have, we would sit here for about 3 hours. So
You've already answered the lawsuit and you're saying you have no notice? What are you talking about? You know the lawsuit's happening and you have notice, proper notice, etc. You had notice of the copyright, etc. So where's this lack of notice coming from? I don't understand this one. You can see without a doubt, objectively, as I go through that, it is mostly cope. I think they got to stick to fair use as their core defense and focus on that. All the time on this other stuff, really not worth it.
Yeah, this one was just crazy. How are they arguing that they didn't get notice while responding to a lawsuit? You gotta be fucking, like, you don't need to be a lawyer to understand this shit. This is just actual comedy. Holy shit. I mean, honestly, I might have figured out a new job here, like a slop tuber equivalent for the legal side. Like, I'm pretty sure this is like a niche market here. If any lawyers are watching, you gotta get into this. Look at these fucking ridiculous lawsuits and just make fun of them. I'm pretty sure there's a niche for this, dude. This is highly entertaining. Crazy how their best argument is actually the fair use doctrine, but at the same time, they completely violated all 4 pillars of it, 100% cooked. I bet Froggy is going for a bench trial. She doesn't want a jury watching her talk about wanting a 9/11 cake and saying her soldiers deserve PTSD. Oh yeah, the average person is going to react repulsively to that. Also, are we sure she's not going to be eating a cake while giving, you know, her trial or whatever? The only one winning is...
Yeah, she's gonna eat a cake, yeah. While and after
the orbiter side is
trial.
that lawyers winning fat stacks by just writing bullshit. That might actually be the case, dude. The lawyer's gonna argue anything they want him to. He gets paid by the hour. Like, dude, they're getting fleeced by every side. It's just hilarious. Sharing a lawyer in what appears to be an unwinnable case makes little enough sense. Sharing an incompetent one is legally batshit crazy. Denim's defense was basically, yeah, I did it, but I don't feel bad about it, so how can it be illegal? Yes. Ethan is actually a corporation, guys. I don't feel bad at all. Moving on to Rob's Media's content nuke on Denims. Definitely not going to go over the whole 2 hours, obviously. Feel free to check it out. Just going to look at a quick segment. She actually talked about slop tubers. Another fan of the series, guys.
I love slop, dude. I love slop tube. I love all the just like garbage videos that are totally garbage videos that mean absolutely nothing. Just like funnel them straight into my feed. That's fine with me. The problem is like the slop tubers who like all they do is cover this stuff and then they're like, actually, I am an intellectual genius and I'm going to cover all of these topics, even though I've never studied any of them or read anything about them or even know anything about any of these regions. Okay, great.
Yeah, prefacing a video with, I'm a dumb, big, idiot baby, but here's what I think about it. Really serious, grave, important topic. Yeah, man, just don't do that. Just listen to the first thing you said and act accordingly.
Her and Noah will say that, as if their daddy Hassan doesn't do the exact same thing.
Here's why this is actually an abject failure, and this is not just my perspective on the matter. I'm just a, dumb idiot with a Twitch stream who is live reacting to the news and trying to make sense of everything as it's ongoing. I usually have a policy of not covering breaking news, and sometimes that policy is violated.
Hassan Sloptuber confirmed.
Dude, every time they act all, high and mighty, I am the intellectual, guys. I'm the political commentator, while you are the lowly slop tuber. You are too stupid to understand my mastermind political arguments. And who is this coming from? Fucking Denims. Denims and Noah Samson. 2 of the biggest idiots to ever grace planet Earth, dog. Holy shit, you guys would lose a quizzical to...
I mean, the biggest, there are bigger, but I agree. I agree.
A goldfish, man. Like, oh, you couldn't beat a pigeon in chess, man. Oh my god. It's just so embarrassing seeing them trying to act like they're somehow above commentary channels in any capacity at all when you're so far. Like, you don't even compare. You don't have common sense. It's crazy. Then this next part, she was actually defending iDubbbz and Anissa and completely misrepresenting people's arguments.
You know, our co-workers are making us take a salary next year, so that's fine.
Yeah, I mean...
Now, Denim's main argument is that it's valid for Ian and Anissa to get paid, which isn't why people are mad.
Literally, just go back 2 years, and here he is saying, you guys absolutely should get paid for your time. I'm sorry, you guys are spending all of your time. None of it is being spent making videos because you're too busy planning this event, talking to all of these fighters, dedicating your life to either boxing in Ian's case or wrangling these fighters to fight, making sure that everything works. And you didn't even take anything for it? You didn't even get paid for any of your labor putting this show together? That's crazy. You guys are allowed to make money off of the things that you put together. You're allowed to raise money for charity and also...
For F's sake, nobody says that, but if you behave like a toxic freaking idiot and just start a fight with every single body, then it's just not gonna work. Sorry. If you behave that way, yeah. You're done. For F's sake, honestly. Especially if you preach every 5 seconds. No, it just won't work.
Make money for yourself for organizing the event. Which is, again, a very fucking reasonable position to hold.
Denims, people aren't pissed that they're being paid. It's that they're being paid 34% of the profits, which is a lot. This information was not transparently presented to either the fighters nor the general public. And some assume that all the profits were going to charity. They were not.
Yeah, funny how even a slop tuber can understand why iDubbbz and Anissa deserve criticism, but Denims, the intellectual political commentary giant here, cannot seem to grasp why people are mad that they stole money from charity, or they're like secretly taking money from charity. But I sort of get it. Idiots gotta stick together, I guess. You gotta defend them so you can secure your spot in the next content cop. Although the next one I don't think is getting 7 million views. You'll be lucky to cross, I don't know, 100k. Maybe you might get a million. He might get a million views, but it'll be like 1 million hate watchers, which is basically his only viewership now. Then this next part, she defends Hassan, calling a terrorist based.
I can't believe I'm calling Nasrallah based. I mean, listen. Listen. You have to remember something, okay? A lot of these dudes, you see...
He literally just called him based. Can I sell you a bridge? You're not an idiot. Come on, you're not that stupid. You have to understand. You have to have heard him reading a chat message. Are you just being disingenuous or are you dumb? I don't understand.
Hezbollah is a paramilitary organization.
Do we like them or no?
They are a terrorist organization. Like they're designated. They are designated by the American state as a terrorist organization.
I do not like them then.
Well, like
I like what you like.
I don't have an issue with them, let's just say.
Yes, guys, it's a chat message. That's why he's done it multiple times in different occasions in separate instances without even looking at chat, completely from his own volition. All right, also, can we stop using the chat excuse? Everyone knows that Hassan uses his chat as a proxy to say the shit that he doesn't want to say. Like, you think that guy actually got banned for saying that? Fuck no. He probably got promoted, bro. He got like an extra salary on that shit. I'm kidding, obviously, but like, yeah, he's not gonna police his chat.
I mean, he has a salary on this stuff. The more unhinged his viewers are, the more profit he gets. It's simple.
They spam hearts for a fucking shooter. Now click this video or your IQ drops to Denim's level.
Yeah, the entire thing is... She looks like Quasimodo. They don't want to insult Quasimodo. But... This is disgusting. But it is what it is. Good night, acolytes.